Welcome to the Movement PT Coffee Cast, where we sit down and talk about physical therapy, health, and whatever else comes to mind during our coffee-infused conversations.
All right, 3, 2, 1. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the dude. Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Movement PT Coffee Cast. I can't even do it. Shit. Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Movement PT Coffee Cast. My name's Dalton, and with me, as always, is my beautifully bearded friend William. William, how are we doing today?
I'm good. That was quite the entrance there.
Dude, that was a struggle. It's been a while. I got nervous because I saw your face. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to say.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad I can have that effect on you, you know?
I know, man. You do. It's the beard, I'm telling you.
It's good to be back though.
I know, man. First episode, me and you together of 2020. We're a little slow out the gates, man. But we're back and we're ready.
Both got our coffees. We decided to, even though it's a little late.
I know. I guess you talked me into it. It's breaking my rule of not drinking coffee after 12, but I think I can do it for you and for the people. So
there's always an exception.
Always. on every day that ends in Y.
Yeah.
But man, what's up? How are things? How you doing?
Things are going pretty good. What's been up? I have one more client left tonight, so kind of just taking a little break to record this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Been pretty busy planning for the wedding that's happening in August.
Yes.
Which you're coming to. So
and it's not to me, which is a good thing.
That's right. Just in case anybody was wondering.
Yeah, he's not married. He's not marrying me.
How about you?
Yeah, man, it's been good. Busy, as always. I feel like time is flying, bro. Like, I can't believe we're like middle of February already. I don't feel like I'm that much like more busy. Like it's the same. It's been the same, but I just feel like time is just like, boom. It's going fast. I think it's because I'm getting older, man.
See a couple grays in your hair yet, or
in my beard a little bit? You know, when it grows out, yeah, get a couple grays in there.
That's sketchy.
I know. But, let's dive into the episode. I'll have you kind of bring up the topic, and then we'll just kind of chat about it.
Sure. Yeah, so I was thinking this would be a good topic just because it's kind of, I mean, we're a little away from the new year, but I'm sure there's some people that have just kind of thought about, you know, getting out and starting to train. And I hope that if anybody's following our page, that's something that kind of can motivate them to start doing. Mm-hmm. So something I wanted to kind of talk about was just maybe like 3 kind of tips on how to start working out and training.
Yeah.
And hopefully that can benefit the peeps.
Yeah. Just 3 tips, eh? That's it? The magic 3?
3 is as many as I'm ever going to give.
And it is the number on my hat right now, currently.
I don't know why I chose 3, but it seemed like a good amount, you know?
No, I'm good with that. We'll preface it by saying there's definitely more than 3 tips and strategies that you can take, and this is not the only 3 that are available to you. And we'll probably give you more than 3 tips, even though we only said 3.
Most likely.
All right. So why don't you lay out the tips or lay out one of the tips, and then we can maybe just talk about it.
Yeah, so I think the first one, I mean, these aren't really in a particular order or anything, but I think the first one, you probably agree with this, is finding a gym that you actually like going to, you know, and every gym's, I think, got a different style, you know, like I go to kind of like I would call it kind of like a garage style, kind of grungier sort of bodybuilding gym. I like that kind of thing, but your gym is a little bit different than mine. So maybe you could talk about how would you describe your gym and why do you like it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not. It's not like a more grungier, like old school style of gym like yours is. I would say it's it's very cleanly. Okay, no, it's more of a box style gym. I wouldn't call it CrossFit. I would call it more like training, strength and conditioning, principles and energy systems. So we do a lot of functional fitness, different styles of conditioning, anaerobic, aerobic. We're a very community oriented gym. So we're very much about the people, especially, people that are even new to the functional fitness space, let's say, or even new to exercising. So yeah, it's a little bit of a different vibe than the gym that you go to, but I think that's going to be the case for basically every gym that you step into. I think the environment is going to be different. I don't think there's not going to be one gym, I think, that's going to be the same, unless you're going to maybe like a Good Life or something that's like franchise, where it's like pretty standard across the board, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with those gyms. I like how that's one of the top tips, is like finding an environment that you like or that fits you, because I think it's very important for you to want to go to a place that you enjoy or that is aligns with you. So I think to like build a little bit on that, because there's only 3 tips, but to build a little bit on that, I think it's like really what at the heart of it is like evaluating what your goals are, or what you want to get out of like this training, because I think that'll really set you up for deciding what environment you want to put yourself into.
Yeah, totally. Like finding out why it is you want to go to the gym in the first place. What are you hoping to get out of training? Like, is it just to get stronger? Is it to get more fit overall? Is it to be around other people? Is it to maybe do some other things like go to yoga classes or swim in a pool? Or do you want to get into like a strength sport? So just kind of like figuring out, like, what are your goals? What's your reasoning for starting? Because that's going to lead you towards different options. And ultimately, I find if you really know what you want and you find that, you're more likely to go and you're more likely to stick with it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then putting yourself in an environment that's supportive of those goals is super super important. I mean, my opinion, if you're brand new, like if you're brand new to training, or you're just like you've trained a little bit but you still like, you don't know a whole lot, and like it's something new you're going into, like I highly suggest that people get a coach. Like they seek out a coach, whether it be like, at like a like a private gym, or even if it's at something like a Good Life, like seek out a coach that's knowledgeable, that's in it for like educating and teaching you and helping you learn the tools to like the lifelong journey of training would be like, I think, my most important like thought.
Yeah, totally. Like finding somebody that can kind of give you the foundational skills to do movements, and even just like finding a gym like that, like as a start, like you can always switch. If you're like finding that you're becoming more interested in a particular avenue of training, then you can do that later on. So if you go to a gym like Good Life to start off with, like there's plenty of options there. It's a great facility and it has lots of equipment. You can kind of use that just to get into the habit and to form that basis of that foundational sort of knowledge and competency, and then you can build from there. maybe at that point you're like, hey, I think I'd rather go to more of a box environment, or I'd rather go to the basement with Will.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I think the hardest part about that, especially if it's someone who's like a new exerciser who's listening or thinking about pursuing it, is like, how do I know, like where's the right place to go, or how do I know that someone's like teaching me the right things? And that is the challenge of it. And I think that's the challenge when you're seeking out any coach or, guidance on something, is like to do your research, to try to find someone that is knowledgeable, meet with that person beforehand if you're going to be working with them, like those kind of things. Don't just like, your health is super valuable. Like, don't just kind of give it up to someone because they said, hey, like, I'm here and I'm going to help you get better, without really getting to know them. And I think if you're seeking out like a new gym, or you're seeking out a trainer or someone, is like, ask for a consult, like ask to sit down and talk to them and see what they're about. Like, what are their philosophies? What do they believe in? Are they going to guide you, or are they just going to get you to sign up for a 12-month contract? You're going to pay $50 a month and then you're not going to go. And that's the unfortunate scenario that goes down with a lot of those big box type gyms, franchises, like a Good Life. Like, I went to Good Life before, and I've experienced it. And not to just knock on Good Life, there's a lot of other gyms that do that aren't like big name gyms, but it's important to find more information about the people that you're going to be, working with.
Yeah, totally. Like, I think I agree with you. I think having a coach at the start would be ideally beneficial, because it just gives you a bit of a guidance, and like we kind of said before, like that foundation, and just sort of that competency of how to get started. But there are definitely some red flags. Like, I would say if somebody's making you feel like there's more barriers and more things you have to do before you start training, that's a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's trying to sell you on having to utilize them for a long period of time, even though that's not what you want, that's a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Someone makes you feel worse about yourself, that's a red flag. Beyond that, if you have somebody and they appear to be using their principles to guide you along, I think that's really beneficial. And there's definitely those people out there. But like you said, you got to do a little bit of research,
mm-hmm.
And find those. Even ask people that you know, hey, do you know anybody that's like a good coach?
Yeah, no, I 100%. And I think most people, like most like coaches or trainers that are in it for the right reasons and are going to help guide you along the way, are going to be open to sitting down with you for a consult, are going to be open to having, you do like a session where you see if it's the right fit for you, like those kind of things, like, cause they believe in their skills and their knowledge and their abilities to help you. It's the people who are giving you, like, selling you on like the guru package that don't want, to sit down with you, or they don't want to go through those things, are the ones where you got to keep your red flag, alarms up for that.
Absolutely. I think that was like 14 tips. So
that was like about 14. Yeah. But that all falls under the umbrella of getting into the right environment. We'll just say that.
That's right.
Move on to
the right environment. If you want, you can get a coach, but do some research before you get one.
Yeah, get a coach.
That's kind of the summary of number one.
Okay, number two.
So the number two was, if you are, kind of programming your own, which I would think like most people are, it's definitely going with a plan. And I would just say stick to like 3 to 5 exercises. One of those can be like a compound exercise, which is just using, more than one muscle group and joint for the movement. Use one of those, and then with the other ones, you can kind of do more single joint exercises. But try to avoid doing like 10 to 15 exercises in a session. It just seems like it ends up being too much of a, I guess, entry point, and you end up kind of overwhelming yourself unnecessarily. I think you can get a lot of benefit with 5 exercises if they're done with a good amount of effort.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I would agree with that. Obviously, everything is like context dependent. I mean, I think we're speaking from, the place of like someone who's looking to get into training, like a new exerciser or whatnot. And I think that's a great suggestion for someone who's just starting to like, enter into the training. A compound movement with some accessory work, if you're looking to build like strength, like with your strength work. And then obviously depending on what your goals are, like strength or hypertrophy or whatever it is, that's going to have you kind of fall into a certain rep range. But honestly, I think to start for like new exercisers, like it's not necessarily the biggest focus. It's like going in there and like you said, you do a compound lift, like let's just say you're doing a deadlift with like some accessory work. After that, could be as simple as like a quad extension. It could be, it could be a lunge. It could be a box step up, whatever it may be, bicep curls. Yeah. Bicep curls, whatever it is. And then doing like, honestly, I mean, 3 to 5 sets of like 8 to 12 reps, I think is like a good place to start. If we're talking just simple, obviously everything is context dependent, and you're going to guide towards like that person's goals, or as they start to have more goals or become, more experienced, then you can tailor it. But I think that is a great place to start. And I think we've talked about this before on the podcast or a post, and maybe we even have a post coming up, soon, is like keeping it simple with something like breaking it down into like a hinge, a squat, a push, a pull, a carry. It's pretty good way to start. Choosing from those exercises and implementing them into your program. And again, I know we have a post coming up that's going to kind of break that down. If people are like, well, what the heck is that? It'll give you some simple ideas of what a hinge exercise is, what a squat exercise would be, what an upper and lower push-pull exercise would be. And it could be a really good place for people to start, like grab an exercise from each category and get after it.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be surprised at like when you just start doing that, you'd be surprised at how quickly you start to know different exercises. You start to understand, what it feels like to kind of push yourself. You get used to some of the soreness that happens, like that type of thing. Like it happens quick if you're going to the gym and being consistent. I mean, the cool thing is you're there so you can see people doing all sorts of different things, and then you just start organizing it like that, and you get to go in there with a plan. And if you only have to do 3 to 5, it limits how much planning you really have to do.
Yeah.
Keeps it simple rather than overwhelming yourself with 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then, next thing you know, you've only got 20 minutes to get ready for the gym, and you're like, oh man, like what 10 exercises am I going to do? Right. But you can easily pick 3, squat, bicep curl, leg press. There you go.
Right.
Then you can get in the gym, at least get something done. And you'll develop that kind of understanding and knowledge of different exercise variations. You'll experiment with different rep ranges down the road.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's a really good tip. And this might segue into like our third tip, but like, actually, I don't even know what the tips are. So I don't know if this is going to segue into the third tip, but the whole idea with that is like, it's a long game, man. Like you're in it for the long haul. And I think it's very overwhelming to start exercising or training and thinking that like you need to do it all right now and as fast as possible, and you're going to reach these goals that you see on Instagram, you see these people doing stuff, or YouTube, or your friend who's been training for 10 years and you see him doing 10 push-ups and you're like, well, I'm going to be able to do that in a week. Like there's a lot of stuff out there that shows like, the instant results, when in the reality of it, it's going to be over the duration of a long period of time. And I think, having something simplistic like that to start will allow for that longevity, because you won't get overwhelmed. You won't get, down on yourself if you can't, hit a certain number of exercises, or you won't, get confused or whatever it may be that will, like, in the short term make you want to stop. So I think that's super important for the longevity of like the training.
Yeah, totally. Like you don't see the work that's been put in with somebody who's doing a lift. Like I've been training for probably, I think 15 years now, probably, and so if you were to see my lifts, you'd be like, how the hell do I get there? But you shouldn't even be worrying about that,
Yeah.
You just get consistent and develop the habits, and you'll see yourself improve, because you're going to be ending up with more workouts anyway if you're consistent versus if you're just doing a ton at once. That was the last tip, was just to commit to 1 to 2 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Because even that, like I checked out Andy Chen Embark Lifestyle, put
shout out
to Andy. And it was do less more often rather than too much every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look, 1 workout a week for a year is 52 workouts. But if you do some crazy 4-week plan, that's like, even if it's 24 workouts, it's only 24.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to sustain that level of intensity throughout like your busy life? Right.
For sure. Yeah. Intensity, in potential injury. If you're like, new to training, you don't really know, how to appropriately dose the load, which is something we see people run into all the time. Because you just don't realize, like, if you're not training, and then you're increasing your intensity and the volume of work, like, and you're not managing that appropriately, it's not that challenging to run into trouble sometimes. And like, we're very much optimists, and like, we're very much like, humans are strong and robust, but if you're not appropriately dosing it and you're like, hey, I'm good, I'm ready to go, I'm going to train, new year, new me, February, still haven't trained yet. I'm going to go and do like 6 workouts a week, for 4 weeks. And that's going to give me like 24 workouts. And at the end of the 24 workouts, you're like trashed. Your knee hurts because you got, I don't know, chondromalacia, and like, it's just, then you don't want to train anymore. So like, it's important to take it slow. And again, coming back to that longevity thing, I think, that post by Andy puts it into perspective. It's like, even if you did 1 a week, you're getting 52 in a year. Like, that's not bad. Like, I would encourage you to train more than that, I think, to get like the recommended guidelines. But like, I'd rather have someone train once a week for a year than train 4 weeks, like 6 workouts a week for 4 weeks and then be done. That's not getting you anywhere. So I think that's a really good point. And it's something that we don't talk about often enough, because it's not what people want to hear, or it's not what's broadcasted on all of the social media, on television, wherever. It's not talked about. It's like, you got to train 5 days a week. Even for myself, man, as of late, I've stepped back in terms of like my duration or my frequency of training. I used to be like, I need to be in the gym, like training 6 days a week. And then on that 7th day, I'm doing an active recovery, in air quotes, where I'm still not doing a recovery. I'm doing assault bike cows for time. And it's not going to get you to where you want if you burn out, right? So I've dialed my training back for, I'm strength training 4 days a week now. and maybe in the gym one other day to do like a run or something, just to like sweat a bit. And that's a big difference in terms of what I was doing before. And I feel better than I have, and I feel stronger. And I'm still seeing good results, and I think I could even scale it back even more if I wanted to. Like if I wanted to go to 3 days a week, I think I could and maintain, or even still hit my goals. But I enjoy being in the gym, and it's kind of like a good outlet for me. So I want to be there more, but you don't have to be, and if you're starting out, I really don't think you should be in the gym really more than 3 times a week. I don't think you really need to if you're just like a new exerciser or new to training.
Yeah, the biggest thing is developing the habit.
Yeah, the habit in the base.
Exactly. The one workout a week turns into 2 workouts, which turns into 3 workouts, because you're getting to the point where you actually crave being at the gym.
Yeah.
You're getting to the point where it's just a part of your week. It doesn't feel like, you've gotten used to making time for it and that sort of thing, So that's where I feel like building that base and yeah, like building that ceiling, right? Like the ceiling is your load tolerance, and you build that over time, and now you can handle more volume of training. You can handle more intensity more often. So I think, yeah, it's just a matter of building that habit. Like for me now, when I don't go 4 times a week, I feel weird. I'm like, like I haven't been there. I need to get back. It's like by the time I'm getting back after 3 days off, I'm like scratching my neck, I'm like just craving getting there and chomping on a barbell,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. And I think one of the biggest surprises that we see at the gym that I work at from people is like we get people on like a 12-week plus program, a lot of like the new people that come in, and we actually limit them to 3 days a week. And like people are so blown away by like the results and the benefits that they get just from training 3 times a week. Like, whereas before they've been on and off of exercise programs that were like 5-day splits or 6-day splits, and didn't see like the results that they see in like a 12-week program of 3 times a week of like a solid, exercise, strength and conditioning program. And people are super surprised by it. And I think it's awesome that we can show people like, hey, if in order for you to stay strong and healthy, you can be in here 3 days a week if that's all you want to be. And like, we recommend that you do that so you can sustain a healthy lifestyle and live the life you want. But if you want to be in here more because it's something you enjoy, then go ahead. And we're going to encourage you to continue to train. But it's something that I don't think a lot of people, think about or know. And it's good that it's being talked about more, so that people don't get so like nervous or turned away from training.
Yeah, totally. And like, obviously there's more things that could help, like with you getting into a new gym and starting to work out and that type of thing. But I feel like when it boils down to it, like making sure you set it up so that you're going to be consistent and you're going to not dread going to the gym, like you're going to get excited to go and do it, then that's probably the most important thing. Like the most important thing is you get it so that you go.
For sure. Yeah. And that comes like full circle back around to like tip number 1 of like, know your goals, get in the right environment.
Exactly. And then give yourself a manageable task to accomplish, maybe break it down month by month, and just start somewhere, start with a few exercises once a week, and then build on that to 5 exercises twice a week and go from there, and then go to movement strength in London.
Yeah, shout out. No, I think that's good. Like that's our 3 tips plus 20 more. But yeah, just to kind of like do the brief little wrap up here. We said, get into an environment that you enjoy. Know your goals. I think that falls into it. Know yourself, know your goals, know what you want to get out of training, get into the right environment, get a coach. If you can't get a coach, start off slow. We said pick one compound movement and then 1 to 3 accessory work exercises to train. And then the last one was, start simple 2 times a week, even 1 time a week. You're in it for the long game. 1 workout a week for a year is 52 workouts. That's pretty good. That's better than 24 workouts in a 6-week high intensity boot camp that you never go back to. Pretty good,
That's
man.
right.
Pretty good. Yeah.
And we're going to be putting up a video or a post, which kind of highlights, that sort of framework of like how you can pick exercises. And then intermittently over the next, little bit, we're going to be posting exercises. So, you should be able to get some ideas there.
Yeah, for sure. And then lastly, like, if you guys have any questions, like further questions or thoughts, or you're thinking, how, like, what should I ask a person, like a gym owner that I'm going in to meet, like send us a message, send us a DM. We'd be more than happy to like help you out, or maybe give you some thoughts on if it's, someone that's going to work or not going to work. If you are in the London area, like, come to Movement Strength. You can find them on Instagram. I will link their profile in the show notes. Message us on Instagram and ask about it. We'd love to get you in the gym. It's a great environment, and I'm a little biased, but it's one of the best gyms that I've ever been a part of. So you can definitely reach out and talk about that. But I think that's enough. First episode, me and you together, 2020. We're back. Guys, you know where to find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at the MVMT PTs. If you took value away from this episode or any one of our other episodes that we've put out, please head over to iTunes, subscribe to the PT Coffee Cast, leave us a 5-star review, share an episode with one of your loved ones or a random stranger, doesn't matter. And yeah, we appreciate you guys. We're excited to be back. We're hoping we can bring you guys some solid episodes coming forward. If you guys have any thoughts around who you want us to have on or topics you want us to chat about, hit us in the DMs. We are always open to suggestions. William, anything else?
No, it's good to be back. Looking forward to 2020.
All right, man. All right, guys, we will see you soon. Get training. We love you. Peace.